Are you ready to make 2024 your most organized year ever? I've got 50 home organizing hacks that are gonna blow your mind. Let's do this. We're gonna start with a few random kitchen organization hacks. If you take a box of tea bags and you tape it closed, you can cut out just a small slot on the very bottom, and then these will basically dispense automatically, and the next one will drop down, and you can sort of grab your tea bags as you go. Next, let's talk about plastic bags. You can create your own plastic bag organizer just using a random old box that you had from, your most recent Amazon shopping. I covered mine in craft paper to make it pretty. Then you're just going to cut a top off of it, and then you're just going to feed your plastic bags into it. You're going to feed one plastic bag through the handles of the one before it, because that way they will pull up as you sort of pull them, like a tissue paper box. I was able to fit like 50 plastic bags in mine and keep them much more organized and maintained. Next up, these book bins, you can get these like at the Dollar Tree, work really great for actually organizing water bottles, surprisingly. So if you flip them vertically, you can then use them to store. I find you can usually do 2 or 3 water bottles high in each of these. Work specifically really great for kid-sized water bottles, just to keep them tidy and organized at a fraction of the cost of regular water bottle organizers. My next hack is how to organize a dread spot. A dread spot is any place in your home that has become just so overwhelming that you're not really sure how to even organize or clean it. And maybe for months and months and months, you have had like organize the closet on your to-do list. The way to fix this is to break that dread spot into manageable tasks. So instead of adding tackle the closet to your to-do list, you're going to break it down into like 5 or 10 tasks. So maybe it's declutter the shelf on the left. Maybe it's take the boxes that need to go to UPS. Maybe it's declutter the clothes, and then, really break it down into manageable tasks. Maybe you have a spare bedroom that just is overwhelmed. Like break it down, organize the nightstands, declutter the dresser, organize under the bed. And now, instead of having a completely overwhelming task on your to-do list that you literally will never be able to find to do, you have manageable tasks that you can do in ideally 15 to 20 minutes. So now it feels a lot more achievable. You can look at your to-do list and say, okay, today I can organize those nightstands. Today I can take those extra boxes to the UPS or whatever. Breaking a dread spot down into smaller tasks, again, that take 15 to 20 minutes is going to make it so much more likely and achievable that you will work your way through these dread spots and actually get them done. Let's all make a goal to not have any dread spots by February. Next up is to add drawers where there are no drawers. I've lived in a lot of tricky spots with interesting storage situations, and I have found that adding drawers where there aren't drawers can be a really great solution to some of these tricky spots. So what I mean here is you can find essentially storage tins that are pull-out drawers. I'm going to show a few examples here. Always measure first the space that you're getting, and then search places like Amazon or the Container Store to find ones that are going to maximize your space the most. And then you can add in these pull-out drawers to make better use of this space so that you can better organize. So in this example, I'm doing a closet. I got these 2 clear bins. You can see they fit almost perfectly because I measured first. And now I've made this a much more functional space by adding drawers that I can now store things in, because this was a kid space at the time. I have spare pull-ups, I have extra toys, much more functional space with the pull-out drawers. I'll give you one more example in our bathroom. Our bathroom has these open shelves, which sure are really pretty, except open shelves in bathrooms, you just end up with a bunch of toiletries. It doesn't look all that pretty. So I got these pull-out drawers, again, a little different because I measured to find ideally the perfect fit for this space. And now I've added some pull-out drawers where there were none, which is a much better way to store a bunch of stuff that you keep in a bathroom, your toiletries, your medicines, all of that sort of stuff. And while we are on the topic of drawers, one of my favorite organizing items that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is the drawer divider. I have some bamboo ones that I use in my kitchen, and then I have some plastic ones I'll share with you that I use in dresser drawers. These essentially create like compartments inside of drawers to help you better manage and organize your stuff inside the drawers. So you can see here in my kids sort of like plates area, I use the drawer dividers to have the larger plates, then I have bowls, and then I have sort of miscellaneous on the side. It doesn't seem like it would make a huge difference, but it really does. I use them in my pantry to make better use of this space. I use it for organizing any of my pantry items. Here you can see I'm using it for cans. Essentially what you're doing is sort of creating zones. Sometimes when when you leave a drawer just completely open, it becomes too much of a free-for-all and things are just more likely to get disorganized, and it makes it a lot harder to actually organize the space. So drawer dividers are a really great way to create zones inside of your drawers. When it comes to my pantries, I like to decant a lot of stuff out of the bags and boxes they come in because, as you can see, they just cause trouble. They're always falling over, they don't stack nice, they really aren't made for storing inside of pantries. You can get really beautiful pantry organizers. You can get matching ones that are stackable, they all look cohesive, which is really nice, but also it can be really expensive, so don't think that you have to spend big bucks to do it either. You can also just reuse containers that you have and do this totally for free. So you can see in this example, I literally just swapped them out with like old containers. I have an old water bottle here, and an old liter of soda. You don't have to spend the big bucks to decant things into better storage items. One of my favorite little cheap organizing hacks is get a clothespin, add one of the command strips to it, and then you're going to pop this inside of pantries or like cupboard drawers. And these work really great just to hold on to like your grocery list, your pantry checklist, your meal planning, or even just keep important bills and paperwork. It's just my favorite little cheap trick for organizing important papers. Super random, but these dip trays that you can get at the Dollar Tree work really great for not just dips. I use it to organize all sorts of stuff, especially inside of closets and low drawers. If you do not have an over-the-door laundry hamper, I'm sorry, it's life-changing. I keep this one behind the door in our kitchen, and it is just the best laundry hamper ever. It takes up such a minimal amount of space. It's great for throwing in dirty dish rags when I have been cooking or cleaning in there. And the best thing is, when you're ready to take it down to the washing machine, it just comes right off the hooks. The bottom has a zipper on it, so you can just unzip it, pour it into the washing machine, and then hang it back up. I've had this thing for well over a year now, use it literally every day, multiple times a day, and it still works amazing. Are you guys bundling your cords? Because if you're not, I'm telling you, it's going to make a big difference. You can get multiple different kinds of cord bundlers for your appliances. I have tried a lot of them. I can't say that one is specifically the best. It really depends on the appliance and the size of the wires. But essentially what they allow you to do is bundle up your cords attached to the appliance. I feel like appliances just come with these built in. I don't know why they don't. Maybe we should talk to somebody about it. Let me just tell you, wherever you store your appliances is going to stay so much more organized and streamlined if you don't have a bunch of wires hanging out. It just makes things look messy. It makes things stay untidy. It makes it hard to store the appliances when the wires are all over the place. So take your wires and get them bundled up on your appliances. Do you have a label maker? A label maker, maybe? I sometimes get heat about labeling things, but I'm sorry. It makes a difference because it doesn't matter if you live there and you think you know where everything goes. Having labels just makes it easier for things to get back to where they belong. Listen, you don't have to label something to say granola. For granola, fine. But for your general bins of organizing, for overstock spices or for batteries or for whatever, having labels on them makes it 1,000 times more likely that it's going to go back to where it belongs, stay where it belongs, and makes it easier for you to put it back where it belongs. It just allows for your organizational structures that you have created to stay that way. Quick little hack when you are decluttering and you come onto some stuff that you're not necessarily ready to get rid of right now, but you don't really know if you need for sure, is to consider throwing it into a box and then close up the box and put the date on the box, and then put this somewhere like an attic or a basement. If this box has been unopened in like a year, it gives you a pretty good idea that this is probably a bunch of stuff that you didn't need. You never thought of it, you never came back for it, so you can probably let go of it. But sometimes when we are decluttering, we get decision fatigue and we end up with this stuff and we're not really sure, should it stay or should it go? This allows you to quickly have a solution of what to do with it so you can continue to move on with whatever decluttering project you're on. Okay, here's a better way to store boxed stuff in your pantry. If the tops keep popping open, this is what always happens to me. This is how I store all of my boxes, like my cereals and stuff. So you're going to take 2 short sides and 1 long side and fold those in. And then you're going to squeeze sort of like on the center of the short ends to create like an inward shape. Then you take the remaining long edge and that basically will sort of slide in to like the little fold that you have created, and now this box will stay closed. I'm telling you, it is the way to store your cereal boxes and cracker boxes. All right, next organizing hack, moving on to car. I got to give a shout out to the car mom for this tip, but this is to utilize your glove box space better. What do most of us keep here? A bunch of stuff we don't need, right? Like paperwork and stuff, which is fine. You need this paperwork, but like you don't need it in the prime real estate of your glove box. So I've actually swapped out my glove box stuff to keep more frequently used items in here. So like wet wipes for my kids. I keep spare clothes in here. I keep snacks in here. I keep just like things that I might need at quick grab in my car, because besides the one time I was pulled over once, I don't need that registration paper at quick grab. It's better to use this prime real estate for more important things. Okay, this next one is maybe not an organizing hack. I guess it's a cleaning hack, but let me tell you, switching over to a wet dry mop really has changed my life. This thing vacuums and it mops all at once. I guess it's an organization hack in the sense that I don't have to keep a broom and a mop at the top of my basement stairs anymore. I can just keep this item because it sucks up the dry items while also wet mopping my floor at the same time. Life changer. Okay, let's compartmentalize our things, which is a word I always have trouble saying. Anyways, creating compartments and or like we discussed with the drawer dividers, zones, just makes it a lot easier for areas to stay organized, especially places like drawers that are just sort of this vast expanse of space. By creating compartments and zones inside of these, it's just going to make it a lot easier for these things to stay well organized. Okay, file folding clothes. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't file fold my kids' clothes all of the time anymore. I've got 3 kids, 5 and under, so it's just not happening. But I do still file fold all of my clothes, and I will still occasionally file fold my kids' clothes, like when I'm doing like a big declutter. It just makes it so much easier to see all of your clothing at glance. You're no longer digging through your clothes to find what's underneath. It is really great for kids too, in the sense that they can see all of their clothes at once and grab that shirt that they really love. It's just the best way to store pants, to store shirts inside of a dresser, because you can see it at quick glance, grab what you want, and when you grab what you want, you're not disturbing the other items that are in there. I will show you how to file fold now. So file folding a t-shirt is pretty easy. Basically, you're going to fold it the way that you would usually fold a t-shirt, but then you just basically fold it in half again. Really, that's the easiest way to do it. And now I've created these little file folds. You can stack them together and store them together. You can follow this general rule for any tops. For pants, you're going to fold up from the foot up once, then fold up again, and then fold that in half. This works for all jeans, leggings, all of that stuff as well. Store your Tupperwares with the tops on them. I know this doesn't maybe make sense at first, but I'm telling you it is the way to go. I actually fell off of this habit over the summer, and I've already lost like 2 of my Tupperware lids. I don't know where they went. It seems like it would take up more space to do it this way. I swear it does not. And all of your Tupperwares keep their tops on them. It not only means you are less likely to lose your tops, but it's just easier to store them this way as well. My next hack is to always have overstock bins. Overstock bins are for maybe the things that you're not using at the current moment. Maybe you bought bulk of something, you bought double of something. You don't necessarily need this to go into the main space you're using, right? So like overstock olive oil. I have 1 olive oil that I'm using when cooking. I don't need my 2 extra olive oils that I bought because they were BOGO there as well. So have overstock areas where the overstock stuff goes, so you can have just the one that you're actively using in your main space in like the arm's reach, and then have specific overstock bins for your other overstock stuff, so that you always know where to go. When you're out of spices, you know to go to the overstock spices bin. When you're out of toilet paper, you have a spot where the extra toilet paper is. Next hack, get rid of unnecessary duplicates. We end up with a lot of duplicates of things that we don't really need 2 of. Like, do I really need 2 lighters? No, I probably don't. Do I need 1,000 pairs of scissors? Probably not. I don't, maybe in an alternative world I do, I don't know. The thing with duplicates is we end up with the duplicates and then we forget to really question if we actually need this many of them. So get good about realizing when you have multiples of things that you don't necessarily need multiples of, and getting rid of the excess. It just makes things more streamlined when you don't have surplus of things you don't need surplus of. Try this hack next time you are procrastinating putting something away. Go ahead and time yourself how long it takes to actually put that item away. And I think you'll realize that it took you maybe 10 seconds, 15, I don't know, 30 at tops if you like went really far away. It really just reminds you that putting things away where they go does not take that much of your time. Whenever I'm being really lazy about putting something away, I will remind myself that it's only going to take me probably 15 seconds, and it's a pretty good motivator to get started. My next hack is to regularly tend to your common culprit areas. So I think something that a lot of us do is we think once we organize something once, we're done. Like we did it, we finally organized it, and there's nothing else that really needs to happen. But the truth is we need to maintain these spaces regularly because they are going to continue to get cluttered. New stuff is going to come in. So get into a habit of regularly organizing and decluttering the spaces, even if you've already organized them in the past. They still need to be maintained. And so when I say common culprit areas, I typically mean places like bathrooms, kitchens, junk drawers, medicine cabinets, those types of spaces. Personally, what I like to do is pick 1 or 2 areas a weekend and tackle them. They usually only take maybe 10 minutes. We tend to avoid them because we think they're gonna take a while. And then, I take 20 minutes out of my weekend and I get them done. Remove unnecessary packaging. Lots of times things come in boxes or whatever because it's easy to sell and ship them this way, but it's not necessarily the best way to keep them in your house. So here's an example of some baby teethers. When I go ahead and take out all of the, oh my God, so much packaging. Why is there so much? I don't know. Anyways, so you can see just removing them from the box already has saved me some space. But now say my kid has eaten a couple. Now I'm using this, like if I kept the box, I'd be keeping that entire box to store only half of them. And I have all this wasted space now in my pantry or my closet or wherever I'm keeping them. So lots of times removing excess packaging can save you so much space. Another one, like the beer organizers, once you take out one beer, you have this huge wasted space in your refrigerator. It's so irritating. And a lot of us are just getting things online nowadays. We're getting things shipped, and it's just so much excess packaging. And if we're storing them the way that they are shipped, it's a lot of wasted space in our house. Try using my take a photo hack. This is great. Sometimes when we live in spaces, we just get used to the clutter. But when you take a photo of the space and you look at the photo removed from the space, you can sometimes easily identify excess clutter that doesn't really actually need to be there. Just because we could become clutter blind to our own stuff. So you take a photo and it will help you sort of minimize and declutter the space. And going off of that, just get really good about clearing off your flat surfaces in general. Again, we become clutter blind to the clutter that's there, but by just removing a few excess items that were there, a space can look so much cleaner and more organized and just generally more decluttered. And it just feels a lot more sort of peaceful when that excess clutter has been removed. So I really try to be really diligent about staying on top of my flat surfaces and removing things from flat surfaces that don't belong. To me, a flat surface is not really for storing, right? It stores a couple of things maybe, but in general, try not to look at your flat surfaces as cupboards, as drawers. We have cupboards and drawers for those things. Keeping your flat surfaces clear not just looks nice, but it means that you now can use these space. You don't have to go to cook dinner and then feel overwhelmed because the counters are full of stuff. My next hack is to break down your boxes immediately. I try to be really good about this. Again, I was just saying a lot of us get stuff online nowadays. It's just sort of the name of the game. I feel like we're in 2023 as I'm saying this, but we're going into 2024. Get diligent about breaking down boxes immediately. I immediately break them down and I put them in the trunk of my car because I take them to our dump to go to the recycling. And then so when my trunk is full, I know it is time to go to the dump. If you break them down sort of as they come, as you're opening the boxes, it feels really manageable if you're just doing it as you go, as opposed to letting them all pile up and then you open your garage door and you have this big old pile of boxes. I'm going to teach you how to fold a fitted sheet. Maybe you are fine just rolling them, but if you actually need to store them on a shelf, being able to fold them is going to make it easier to store and organize them. Start with your fitted sheet inside out. And then what you're going to do is look for 2 corners. And I don't think it necessarily matters if you're doing a short side or a long side, but for the sake of this tutorial, I chose long sides. Essentially what you're looking for is the seam of the corner. You want to take your hand and you want to pinch at the final corner of each one. Pinch at the corner. So now you're holding one corner in your right hand, you're holding one corner in your left hand. You are then going to bring the right corner over to the left corner using your left hand. You're going to pinch, so you're now holding both corners, and you're going to fold the right corner over the left corner. To check that everything is done right, you should be holding two corners in your hand, and the two seams should be lined up along the top together. What's most important with this method of folding fitted sheets is that the two corners and the seams are now together. Things are gonna look kind of like a jumbled mess at the bottom. You're probably gonna start sweating right about this time. If you're like me, you're like, I'm not doing this right. You are. Just stick with me, okay? Things are still messy. Work your way down to the bottom of the sheet area a little bit, and you're just going to take anything that's still inside out and make it right side out. Is it right side out? Whatever. Then you're going to pass what's in your left hand over to your right hand. It's just easier to work this way. You are going to go down to the bottom of the sheet and you're going to look for the two other corners. Now you're not going inside the sheet to do this. So you're going to be working from the back of the sheet, the part of the sheet that's the closest to you, and find that corner. And then you are going to just reach through to grab the other corner as well. And you'll actually find the two corners have probably kind of found each other. So they're probably kind of nested and close to one another. But again, the point is your pincher finger is going to be grabbing both corners and you're going to be lifting it up. So now you're going to have two corners in your right hand with the seams on top of each other. You're gonna have two corners pinched in your left hand with the seams on top of them. And then again, you are going to bring your right hand over to your left hand. Now with your left hand, you're going to pinch all four corners and fold over the top. Again, we can check that we've got this right because now you'll have all four corners pinched in your left hand. All four seams should be sort of essentially stacked on top of one another. So if you got those four corners and those four seams together, you are great, and it's time to move down to the ground. You're essentially going to take what you have and sort of lay it flat. And this is the second time in this folding method that you probably are quite sure that you are doing things wrong. Just stick with it, okay? It's gonna come together. At this point, kind of don't worry too much about where the fitted edge is. We're gonna move over to the opposite corner and you're gonna be able to make this into sort of more of a right triangle. So don't worry too much about the bunched end and sort of focus on the other edge, getting a nice 90-degree angle, if you will, out of your sheet. And then just sort of place the rest of the sheet as you go to create as much of a rectangle as you can. So we're gonna start from the edge that has the most like bunching. We're gonna fold the whole thing into thirds the long way, the hot dog way. So you're gonna fold it over once, just, pressing nicely as you go. You wanna do this on a hard surface. Trust me, folding on a hard surface is 1,000 times easier. And then you're going to fold it over one more time, press it nice again to get it as flat as you can. Then you're going to start from the end that has the most like excess fabric, again where those corners are, where that excess bunching is. You're going to fold over once and then you're going to fold over again. And there you go, guys. You have successfully folded a fitted sheet. But the second problem is with my sheet collections is they often are like socks and they end up apart from one another. I found a couple different methods and I kind of married them together to create a method that works really great for me. You already got your fitted sheet folded. Great. Now you're going to just fold two pillowcases, fold from the top again, fold in half, put it with the fitted sheet. And now what we're going to do is package it all together using the top sheet. So I feel like, folding a top sheet, pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna fold it in half, bringing two corners together. I'm then going to go down to find the other two corners, make sure they're matching, fold that in half again, and then, I've got a nice little rectangle, which I'm going to fold into thirds. I am then going to place my little package of fitted sheet with pillowcases on top of my long skinny rectangle of top sheet. And then essentially what I'm gonna do is fold it up into this to create one little package. Everything's organized together. And now for literally the first time in my entire life, I have all four sets of my sheets organized with the matching pillowcases and the top sheets. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put these away into my linen closet. Okay, next up, we're gonna stop storing our towels like this, because our spare towels, at least, because when we do, they just get disorganized, they all fall apart. A better way to organize towels, especially spare towels and like beach towels, is by spa rolling them, because you've created this nice little compartment and it all stays together and it doesn't fall apart. So let me teach you how to spa roll your towels. Okay, so starting with the towel all the way open, you are going to sort of fold over one corner into like a little triangle. You get it, like a 90-degree fold. And then you're going to fold down from the top to make the two edges meet, and then you're going to flip this over. Now starting at one end, the not triangle end, you're going to roll all the way up to the triangle. Once you get to the end, you just take this little excess piece and you're gonna tuck it into one of the folds, and you now have a spa folded towel. It's going to hold its shape, it's going to store better, it's going to stack better. Okay, how about a few little Dollar Tree organizing hacks? You can buy these like burner covers, and they're made of metal, so they're actually magnetic. And then get a couple of little storage tins, Tupperwares, whatever. You're going to hot glue some magnets onto these, and then it works really great. It's just a simple wall organizer. These ring holders for the phones that you can get at the Dollar Tree have amazing adhesive and are great for not necessarily just your phone, but for organizing all sorts of stuff. I stuck some in like our cupboard by our back door, and I use it to hang my sunglasses. But you can use them for all sorts of things, to hang all sorts of stuff. I also use the little pop sockets from the Dollar Tree for the same thing. I use it in my office to store my keys. The book rings that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and then you can use it to hang all sorts of stuff. And while we're talking Dollar Tree, these doggy and like cat clips, the little animal clips from the Dollar Tree, the best bag clips. They're the best. The best ones, and they're $1.25 for like a pack of 3. The Dollar Tree push lights are great for organizing in spaces that are not well lit, because essentially you can just adhesive these on to any wall or any space to add some light. Because if you have any closet or any space that's really dark, you know it's impossible to like get in there, find what you need, keep it organized. But the Dollar Tree push lights are going to add a ton of illumination without having to worry about spending a lot of money or like screwing things into the wall. Okay, we all know that velvet hangers are ideal in closets because your clothes won't slip off of them, but if they are too expensive for you, you can literally just take pipe cleaners and put them around your plastic hangers, and this is going to prevent your clothes from slipping off of your clothes hanger. Add a couple of shower curtain rings to your hangers as well, and this allows you to hang a couple of items vertically, which is going to make more use of space in closets. Now, like I said, I'm using a shower curtain ring here, actually from the Dollar Tree, but you can also get products specifically made for these if you want to be like a little more, fancy and specific. These are ones from Amazon, and you can see it clips right onto the hanger and then allows you to clip another hanger onto that. All right, here's 2 little mason jar organizing hacks. If you take a mason jar top, and then next time you use up a like salt, like one of those like salt shakers, you can take the pour top from that and add it to your mason jar. So you're just gonna place the top of the mason jar over the top of the pourer and then trace it out, and then you're just gonna cut that circle. You just cut the whole thing out, and then you essentially are going to pop this into the mason jar where the metal round piece was instead, and now you've created sort of a pour top from a mason jar. Another hack for these mason jars is the tops to like Parmesan cheese also fit on top of here. So if you want like a shaker top for your mason jars, you can literally just take the plastic one from an old Parmesan cheese and screw it onto your mason jar. A big jumbo carabiner is the best way to keep your hair ties organized without them getting lost and like you never know where they went and they're just all over your bathroom drawer or whatever. Keep them on a carabiner and they stay all together. If you have a paper calendar, you can slide it into any sort of like paper protector, and then you can use this to draw on it with a dry erase marker. So this is really great if you don't want to have anything permanent for your calendar, but also really great for things like meal planning, because you can just slide a paper calendar inside. You could write anything that's hard and fast on the actual paper, but then you can use dry erase marker to write on the plastic for anything that you are not sure about or that you're sort of still planning out. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you all in my next video.